It often happens. How and where dreams begin, we often do not remember. And so that night, after running around the shops, not feeling my legs, I fell asleep in my cleanly washed bed, smelling of delicious powder. It's strange, it was as if I had never left. Everything was there, in my apartment, in the hallway. Only for some reason things and objects were reflected in a mirror image, as if I had ended up in Alice's looking glass, and the objects were out of place. For example, the built-in wardrobe, painted with white oil paint, for some reason ended up by the door where they hang things. I opened the closet door. Something disgusting was moving there, resembling either a dog or a bear. More likely a bear with a crumpled, swollen in tumors, not animal, but almost human face. The beast was extremely emaciated. The matted red fur framed its hideous body with scraps of shaggy hair. The eyes, swollen with lids, of a terrible and even somewhat stuffed face of an unsuccessful stuffed bear, looked at me motionless. Neither good nor evil, rather indifferently. Why is there a bear here? I screamed to my mother in fear. Is it possible to keep an animal in such conditions? He's dying. How long has he been here? I've already forgotten about him, my mother answered strangely. He needs to be fed. She threw some scraps from the kitchen. The monster growled. Apparently, it began to eat. I wanted to open the paint-covered cabinet latch and let the beast out to have a look, but my mother categorically forbade it. Don't open it, it'll tear me apart. My late grandmother was fussing around nearby, apparently afraid that I would disobey my mother and open the latch. I started calling on the phone so that the bear forgotten in the closet, which had suddenly appeared in our apartment, could be taken to the zoo. Strangely enough, the number of the zoo exactly matched my mobile number, 2879716. I tried to dial on the gray turntable, our old phone which we had actually replaced with a push-button phone long ago, but my fingers stubbornly refused to obey, as if paralyzed. The numbers on the dial of the turntable had completely worn off, I had to guess. The phone desperately crackled and acted up, threatening to interrupt the call at any moment. But with excruciating difficulty I finally got through, and a pleasant male voice answered. Hello, please, could you help us? Take it away. I wanted to tell you about the animal living in my closet, but I couldn't squeeze out to coherent words, although I understood that the precious call to the zoo director could be cut off at any moment. And really, how can you explain to someone that there is a wild animal in your apartment closet, which is dying of hunger, because it was simply forgotten? And the ugly animal was still sullenly tossing and turning in the closet, threatening to break down the flimsy plywood door of the closet. It stank, but not like manure, or like an animal, but something nasty, musty, like a cemetery. But will they take the animal? Who needs it? After all, there are tons of such wounded animals in any zoo. I don't know if it was the right thought, but for some reason that was exactly what I was thinking. The realization that all this was just a nightmare, that there was no bear and could not be in our apartment, did not come right away. I woke up at midnight in a cold sweat and was afraid to fall asleep for a long time. The most terrible thoughts crept into my head. What if my mother is paralyzed and becomes disabled? What will you do? Who will need you then? I wanted to cry from my own uselessness and despair, and there was a heavy, cold stone on my heart.